So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fitzmore Peters, and I'm a junior risk consultant at the Caribbean Development Bank. And it's a privilege to be a part of the World Association for Sustainable Development Conference 2025, especially in a time when global conversations on resilience and climate justice have never been more urgent, more necessary, and more personal for communities like mine. Today, I invite you to join me as we go beyond numbers and policies to hear stories from small island development states, stories of resilience, hope, and youth leadership. Together, we'll explore why building resilience means empowering youth to lead the way towards a sustainable future for our islands and beyond. Let me begin with a question. What does climate change look like where you live? For many of us in small island development states, the answer isn't theoretical or even hypothetical. It is not decade in the future. It's already here, happening right now. We see it in the flooding of our tongues, in salt water intruding into our crops, and in hurricane that leave entire communities in recovery for years. And here's the hard truth. Small island development states are located in high-risk climate zone. We sit directly in the path of hurricane. We depend on fragile coastal ecosystem, and we also rely heavily on climate-sensitive sectors like tourism, agriculture, and fishing, which makes us uniquely exposed. But exposure only tells part of the story. Here's why this matter. Climate change in SIDS is not a distant threat. It's daily reality reshaping economies, health, and communities. The future of our island and the lives of everyone who call them home depend on urgent action now. Consider this. 65% of the Sustainable Development Goals target rely on action taken at the local level, action that must be rooted in the communities most affected. And young people like you and me are critical to achieving those goals. We are creative, connected, and deeply embedded in our communities, and we are ready to lead. But readiness means little without recognition. And if we are serious about achieving climate resilience, then youth in SIDS must be given not just a seat at the table, but a voice in shaping the solutions also. In Barbados and St. Vincent and Grenadines, places I call home, we are living the climate crisis daily. We are seeing shorelines disappear as sea level rise, hurricane intensify. Now category 4 and 5 storms are becoming the norm. Water and food insecurity are becoming more frequent as rainfall become erratic and agriculture suffers. What's really heartbreaking is that our carbon footprint is minimal and we have contributed the least to global emissions, yet we bear the brunt of the climate crisis. It's a profound contradiction. We are, we are among the least responsible for this crisis, yet we pay the highest price. This just isn't a climate problem, it's a matter of climate justice. To bring this closer to home, let me share a personal experience. Early this year, after Hurricane Beryl, I saw firsthand the devastation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, particularly in Mayo and Union Island, where 90% of the infrastructure was destroyed. Roofs were torn off, school damaged, and fisher folks left without boats. But what stood out to me most wasn't the destruction. It was the community spirit. People rallied, young people especially showed up to help without being asked. This is resilience we must protect and nurture. Disaster expose gap, but it also reveals strength. And in SIDS, that strength often comes from young people. We live in these communities. We know the faces, the stories, and the struggles. And when the storm passes, we're not waiting for help. We're already on the ground because these are our family and friends. We don't just wait for aid, we become the aid. It's young volunteers who often with little more than determination and community spirit step into shelters to organize supplies for displaced residents, help rebuild schools and clear roads so children can return to class and communities can recover faster, set up WhatsApp group and social media pages to coordinate help, ensuring that aid reaches the people that need who need them the most. But despite all of this, we are really included in the formal climate adaptation or disaster risk planning. Why is that? Even though we have proven time and time again that we are not just resilient, we are resourceful. The question is not whether youth can lead, but whether institution will let us lead. There's something special about youth in SIDS. We bring to the table deep cultural insight rooted within history, tradition, and values of our communities. We also bring adaptability. We thrive and innovate under pressure. Community trust. We are known, respected, and listened to by those around us. And digital fluency. We seamlessly bridge technology and tradition to create fresh solution. Right now, we are already advocating for green policies at town halls and in school classrooms. We are also leading climate smart farming initiative in our own backyard and farm. We are also mobilizing coastal cleanup and restoring vital mangrove ecosystems. Our knowledge is hyper local, but its impact is global. What we need is support, not supervision. When we say youth are leading climate solutions in the Caribbean, we mean it. And here are four real stories that prove it. First, Salvador Colon in Puerto Rico, at just 15 years old after Hurricane Maria, he raised over $170,000 to distribute solar lamps and chargers through his project Light and Hope for Puerto Rico. While others waited, he delivered energy and dignity. In Jamaica, Odin Brooks and Crystal Paris Campbell, both CARICOM youth ambassadors, launched a climate-smart school garden using aquaponics at Clancarty High School, combining food security, innovation, and education all in one. From St. Lucia, Yohanan Bujan turned crisis into opportunity by founding Algas Organics, the region's first agribiotech company. He transformed invasive sorghum seaweed into eco-friendly fertilizer. And also in St. Lucia, Mihail Jabsu and his group Cedar change are restoring mangroves, a critical defense against storm surges and erosion. They also install educational signs, cleaning beaches and transforming a coastline into a resilient community space. These youths aren't just responding, they are redesigning the future. Imagine the scale we could reach if we truly back them. The biggest misconception about youth engagement is that we are somehow not ready, that we need to wait, that we need to be trained, that we need to be told. The truth is that we don't lack passion or ideas, we lack support. So what does real support look like? Climate education embedded in all school, not as elective, but as core knowledge. Access to funding and mentorship for green businesses, whether it's sustainable farming, ecotourism, or energy innovation. Platform to share our ideas, not just in conferences, but in boardrooms and parliaments. It's time to flip the script. Stop asking if young people are capable and start asking what's stopping us from supporting them fully. This isn't something I talk about, it's something I actively work on. At Caribbean Development Bank, where I work, I have supported pivotal research for Dominica's geothermal energy project, which successfully secured over 34 million US dollars in financing from the Caribbean Development Bank. I have helped develop and plan the implementation of the CRDC at Caribbean Development Bank, a critical mechanism designed to assist countries in managing the impacts of natural disasters. And this was also helpful when Hurricane Beryl hit St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We actually diverted US $8 million from the CRDC from the World Bank that went towards helping rebuilding the infrastructures on Union Island that was damaged during the hurricane. I have also completed the climate knowledge for all course this month, supported by CDB because informed leadership must also be educated leadership. On the ground, I joined youth at the Caribbean Canada Leaders Dialogue 2025, planting trees in Walker Reserve and the Barbados National Botanical Garden. We didn't just plant saplings, we planted hope, shade, and carbon sinks for future generation. Talking about climate change is important, but rolling up your sleeves, feeling the soil in your hands, and putting resilience into the ground, literally, that is where real change begins. Each tree was a small promise to the planet and a tangible reminder that action, no matter how local, can be performed far behind where it's planted. A seat in the room is no longer enough. We need power. True empowerment means co-creating policies, not just giving feedback after the fact, controlling budget, not just applying for microgrants, holding leadership role, not just advisory one. Let me highlight one inspiring leader, Adia Daniel, an 18-year-old from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She sat on the climate change sectoral group under the Prime Ministerial Advisory Council on Youth. She recently addressed the UNICEF Executive Board on the climate crisis after Hurricane Beryl. Adia proves what we already know. We are not too young to understand. We are just often too excluded. So where do we go from here? We need to stop seeing youth as beneficiaries of climate solution. We are drivers of those solutions. If climate crisis is global, then the solution must be local. And in SIDS, locals mean youth-led. Sustainability doesn't begin at a summit or conference. It starts on our shows, in our schools, and within our communities. We are not waiting to be rescued. We are already rising. So fund us, mentor us, partner with us, trust us, because the solutions are already here and they are being led by us. Here's my ask of all of you. Support youth with funding, not just applause. Share knowledge generously. Trust us with power, not just present. Together we can turn SDG 13 into a reality. I invite all of us to join hands, get involved, and plant the seed of resilience for our communities and future generations to come. Thank you.